Welcome back, everyone, to another popping, insane video that we've got for you on the Lubbock Living channel. Here we go. Today we're talking about what to expect when you're expecting. Just kidding. When you're expecting, not to be pregnant, to move to Lubbock, Texas. Let's do this thing. Whether you're moving here for work, school, why else would you move? Leisure, maybe? I don't know. Or investing, that's another big one. I am going to cover all the bases, running bases, first, second, third, home run on this video, and we're gonna, by the end of it, we are gonna hit a grand slam. We're covering everything that you need to expect when you're moving to Lubbock, Texas. Let's get into it. So first things first, whether you're moving here or investing here, you need to know where you're gonna live. So let's talk about some of the neighborhoods here. A lot of people, let's just put college students in this environment, and we can loop in investors into this bunch. Close to Texas Tech University. We've talked about in plenty of other videos how important and integral Texas Tech University is to our economy. It is the most important thing by and large. When people think of Lubbock, they think of Texas Tech Red Raiders. Come on, baby. Raider Red, just going crazy with this big old mustache shooting his gun. So Tech students usually do want to be close to the university. They want to be able to walk, take the bus, be in somewhat of the vicinity of it, maybe take a Lime scooter. Those things are pretty cool. And a lot of times when there are tech students running along, there are investors that are right behind them. Not in a weird predatory way, maybe a little bit, but a lot of times college students live in investor-owned properties. I've actually worked with investors who have purchased homes in Lubbock that rent specifically to college students, which is a great gig. And oftentimes it's better to do that because the way that you can charge college students is you can kind of charge them by the room. So you can charge them, each college student, instead of getting a family in your house and charging them $1,800 a month on a 4-bedroom. On a 4-bedroom, you can charge $600 a room if you're close to the university and get $2,400 a month. Is that the right math? Yes, it is. I know it is because I just did it in my head. Southwest Lubbock is developing like crazy. It is blowing up. Lubbock Cooper ISD and Friendship ISD have seen insane growth in the past 10 years and are continually growing. There's nothing but land in Lubbock, so around the schools, people are just building homes, they're building restaurants, they're building commercial buildings, they're building hospitals, they're building really everything you could think of. Cheese factories, but that's on the east side of town, which is fine. The high schools here are growing like crazy. They're building tons of them in the newer districts. A lot of people that I recommend, if you have a good chunk of change and you want to move here, I'm like, well, it's good to invest in the path of progress in real estate. So Southwest, great areas to live, a lot of newer houses. So if you're looking for something new that's on the pricier end for Lubbock, which is probably around $400,000 to $600,000, you can get a great house in those areas. But going along with that, this is an expectation video. So what you need to know is the price range of the house you can get and the monthly budget that you can afford on a mortgage if you're gonna move here. That's something that's absolutely integral. I do talk to a lot of people all the time as well who are definitely concerned about the newness of a house. They don't wanna buy an old house, but maybe sometimes an older house in a more established neighborhood would cost more than a newer house because it's in a really good neighborhood. Just those are things to think about when you are pondering the idea of moving here and to expect to know what your monthly budget's gonna be if you're living here. If you're an investor, a lot of times, Lubbock's a very blue-collar place. You're gonna get people who work as tenants in the oil field, maybe hospitals, maybe sometimes students outside of tech, outside of the loop, further out. The general population of folks here differs greatly. So depending on what your investment strategy is, you give me a call, my number's right here, we'll figure it out for you. If you're looking to invest, expect to know your tenant base as well. Very important to know your tenant base and who you want to rent to. What to expect number 2 is the cost of living. I don't know where you're watching this from. I don't know where you're moving from if you're moving here, and you should be. But you absolutely need to know the cost of living in Lubbock and how it stacks up to other cities in Texas and maybe other cities in whatever state you're watching from. I don't know where you're watching from. Like I just said, you could be watching from Portland, Oregon. Who cares? But definitely something you need to know is the cost of living. According to Numero, the cost of living in Lubbock is 26% lower than the national average. The cost of housing is particularly affordable across the country, with Lubbock being about 10% cheaper than houses across the entire country, which is great. What this means is that you can enjoy a higher quality of of life at a lower cost. We've talked about bang for your buck, folks. This is it. Okay, what to expect number 3. Let's talk about crime rates and safety. I know a lot of people always ask in my comments, how's the crime in Lubbock? They call me, they're like, I hear the crime's bad in Lubbock. Well, guys, listen. Lubbock is a safe city. I would say it's a safe city, but just like any other city, it's important to take precautions. We've got a very active police department. In fact, one of my tenants in a house that I own is a police officer. Great dude. He actually found me on YouTube and we hooked him up with the house that I owned to rent instead of buying, which if you're interested in doing that, I can do that as well. But we've got a very involved police department working on cleaning up the streets, working on fixing everything that's wrong. We love the blue here. We back the blue. We want the police to be helping our community and doing the best they can, give them the resources they need to do that. According to Neighborhood Scout, Lubbock has a crime rate that is lower than 49% of all US cities. I know that sounds backwards because now you're thinking, well, then it's higher than 51% of all US cities, which is fair. However, like I've said before, if you're investing in real estate, buying real estate and the path of progress and where things are moving, chances are you're not going to be running into a lot of crime. If you, just like Lubbock, can afford the newly established neighborhoods and everything that's going on there, crime rates are not high in places that are very new and established. The Lubbock Police Department has implemented various safety measures to ensure that the city remains as safe as it possibly can be. We have a community-oriented policing program that encourages officers to work with residents to prevent crime. We've got like neighborhood watching communities. People in HOAs are very active, neighborhood patrols, lots of stuff going on, and of course, a lot of people in Lubbock do carry guns on them all the time, handguns, and they're ready to pop. Some people dual wield akimbo, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, they're ready to go. I'm not even kidding, a lot of people are packing heat all the time, and that is a huge deterrent. I've heard multiple stories of people trying to break into other folks' houses and then getting popped. I don't want that to be a concern to you because that's a very small subset. I mean, it's a very minuscule amount of people who that happens to actually getting their house broken into. But sometimes people try to do that and they get popped in the face or maybe in the chest with a shotgun, blown to smithereens. And they deserve it. You don't break into someone's house. I'm just saying. So now number 4, what we're gonna hit is what to expect to know what the best neighborhoods are. A lot of times it's difficult to know. This is a very subjective discussion and I have an at-length library of videos that we've talked about some of the best neighborhoods, highest hitting neighborhoods in Lubbock that we love to discuss, we love to have people move into. It's good to know what area is gonna fit you and your family needs and style the best. For instance, you might be a younger person, newly married, moving to Lubbock because your wife's a resident in the med school. A newly built garden home might be perfect for you. That's close to tech. Your wife can drive straight to the med school. Might be a perfect thing for you. Wink, wink. I have a client who's doing this right now and I hope he's watching. But that might be a perfect thing for you and we went under contract on the house. So it's important to know the neighborhoods that are gonna accommodate your lifestyle. If you know you want an acre of land outside the city and you want the country aspect of what Lubbock has to offer, you probably need to be pretty far south or pretty far east or west or north in any direction. You can get a good chunk of land and be able to deal with the commute of driving into Lubbock. Those are just things that you need to be able to hit in your mind when you call me and you go, well, I want this, 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 and this, and I want to be here, here, or here. If you want to be close to the high schools, the Lubbock Cooper or the Friendship that are kind of the most popular schools right now, because your kid is a freaking grade A athlete, 5A monster who just wants to jump out of the gym or freaking hit dingers on the baseball field, that's something that you might accommodate for and expect to know the nice neighborhoods that are close to those school districts. And the school districts are very important as well. Do your research, figure out which place is gonna accommodate y'all best and what you're gonna like the most as a family. It's important to note that Lubbock has an extremely diverse range of neighborhoods to choose from, and the pricing is also very diverse. You don't have to spend $600,000. You can get a good house for $200,000, $250,000, or even under if we get a good deal. I promise it can happen. Whether you're looking for a quiet suburban area or something more rural or even maybe something more city oriented, our downtown is developing a lot. We've got a new performing arts center. We've got tons of new restaurants, almost a brand new hotel that's freaking insane called the Cotton Court. We've got something for every lifestyle here in Lubbock. What to expect, number 5, the entertainment factor of Lubbock. I'll get a lot of calls and people wondering, well, if I come to Lubbock, is there anything to do? I mean, I heard the only thing to do is watch the cotton grow. That's not the case. We do have pretty much everything that a major city has. I mean, what do you want to do? What are you going to do in a major city that you can't do here? And I would even argue to say that you could probably do more in terms of like shooting guns and hunting and all these things. So we've got movie theaters, we've got bowling alleys, we don't have indoor skydiving, and we have axe throwing, we have archery, we have shopping, we have a mall, we have great shopping districts that a lot of people love to go to. We've got bougie restaurants, we've got cigar lounges. Shout out to Good Karma Cigar. Love you guys. I smoke a cigar just about every day, and that's where I go. We've got everything that a big city would have, and I would argue, and then some, because our people are so nice, it's so wholesome. You can hunt, you can farm, you can fish, you can do every outdoor activity. Even just an hour away, you can go mountain bike in some crazy canyons that you can't see in major cities. That's something to think about if you're outdoorsy. Probably not a lot of rock climbing, but we do have indoor rock climbing facilities. All things to consider when you're thinking about entertainment. We've got everything that a big city would have, and I think personally, then some. Number 6, this is a big one because we are home to Texas Tech University. Let's look at some of the demographics. Lubbock is a very diverse city with a population of over 250,000 residents in the immediate Lubbock vicinity. We have a relatively young population with the median age being 30.7 years old, and that age is declining because what's been really cool for Lubbock and what's been happening is people who are young and graduating college are actually getting jobs and staying in Lubbock and growing and thriving in the community. As Lubbock continues to grow and as we continue to get more and more jobs, more and more people want to stay here. We've talked time and time again in videos about how family oriented and a great place Lubbock is to have a family, and I can't stress that enough. Folks that come here for school and end up staying here is great for our economy. A lot of people might work remote, a lot of people are working for some of the major companies here, and it's great that our median age is kind of going down, and a lot of people are, it's becoming a youthful environment that's bringing industry and bringing families and bringing all sorts of stuff that a growing city needs. Of course, we've got tech students, we've got a lot of college students here, but one of my favorite things about Lubbock is from August to December, students. From January to May, students. But from May to August, it's like you are a teacher and you've got summer vacation. There are no students here, and Lubbock, you can feel the loss of population in the summer. And if you are here in the summer, it's awesome. If you are around the university at all, it is a cool thing to see. Of course, we miss our students when they're not here, but it's awesome to just kind of drive by Tech and see no cars, and it kind of looks like a ghost town around the campus, but everything else is still going on elsewhere. But it's just really awesome to see that. Finally, we're going to look at our transportation options, and I've talked about this time and time again on other videos too, and we've got a catalog of videos that you should be watching. But let's look at transportation. So Lubbock's got a big loop. A lot of people get on the loop, they drive from one part of the city all the way to the other part of the city. It's freaking awesome. You can get anywhere in Lubbock in about 15 minutes. And because we're growing so much, we're actually building another loop that's going to shoot off this loop. It's going to be like an infinity or an 8. So you're going to be able to go and it's great because we don't have a lot of traffic. We have a great bus system, especially around the university for students. Great public transportation. We don't have any trains or anything. We're not crazy like that. We do, I believe, have a trolley that's close to the campus, but we don't have anything that's like San Francisco, which we don't really want to be like San Francisco, so that's okay. But we've just got a great public transit system anyway. The infrastructure of the roads is fantastic. Like I said, very minimal traffic. You can really get anywhere in Lubbock in about 15 to 20 minutes from one side of town to the other. If you have a car, I would definitely recommend having a car here because it helps you get around so much faster because you're not dealing with traffic or anything that's super annoying like that. But if you have to Uber, if you have to take the bus, not bad either because you can get from one part of town to the other so quickly and so briefly. A lot of people ride bikes, especially around the university and to and from, but even just outside. I mean, you could hypothetically bike to work if you live maybe super south of town. You could bike from your house to your office and no one would care. Wouldn't even look like a Mormon because you probably have really long sleeves on. And even if you're Mormon, that's cool too. Whatever you gotta do, people bike here. It's great. And we've got Lime scooters, which a lot of students ride around the campus. So these are just some of the things that you need to expect when you're moving here. I hope it was a good list. It wasn't extremely exhaustive, but if you've got any more questions, give me a call. My number's right here. We've got plenty of videos everywhere. We work very hard on this content. Please comment and tell us what we need to do, what you want to see from us. We would love to see the feedback and respond accordingly to it. I get calls and texts from you guys all the time. Don't be a stranger. Feel free to call and reach out to me. Promise I can handle it. Thank you guys so much. See you on the next one.